I've watched all of the games, of course, with you, with all of you. And I feel like KT currently, BDD and Cass are performing so insanely well. I would feel bad not putting them beating CFO, even though I'm supposed to not underestimate CFO, even though CFO is a team that made it from LCP for the first time in 10 years. One of their teams made quarterfinals. It's been 10 years ago. AHQ made it 10 years ago, chat. I still feel like in a BO5 between one of the stronger LCK teams and CFO, it is gonna be KT. And I just feel like BDD and Kaz are performing insanely well, and Honkyu is a great player, but I think he still needs some experience. As for Gen.G, I think has been like a great tournament. And Dogo has been playing insane as well. I feel like Dogo is 1v9 so much in these games. But I know I have to just take KT sides. I think KT is the better team, right? And that's partially why they are 3-0. The only thing that speaks to me that KT might struggle is because they had a very long break, same as anyone's legend. And the long break doesn't always help. Often teams that go 3-0 actually don't make finals. These are just facts. This is not hypothetical, these are facts. Gen.G HLE! This time I'll be supporting Gen.G because I feel like this is the year where Chovy will win Worlds. If this year Chovy doesn't win Worlds, then which year Chovy wins Worlds? I think Canyon had a tough year. After watching so much LCK, I think that Canyon didn't always look amazing, but I feel like Gen.G as a team is absolutely cracked, and I also feel like Canyon has been stepping up a lot during this Worlds. I think he only had good games, and Chovy is looking insane. Their macro is looking insane. Their micro is looking insane. And I kind of feel bad for Peanut because I love Zeus. I think Zeus is insane. I think Zeka, Peanut is insane. Peanut, of course, having his last Worlds, right? He's going to military after this Worlds, his last competitive game. And there's also Viper, who, in my opinion, was second best performing AD carry in Swiss stage. I think the best AD carry in Swiss stage was Dogo. I think that guy was cracked. I think Viper was second best performing. Every game he was reliable. Kaisa games, Caitlyn games. Every single time you needed him, he would come up clutch. But his team didn't really come up as clutch. And Peanut has some iffies, a lot of iffies. I love him, but I think he had too many iffies. And I think Gen.G is just the better team. So I'm going to go with Gen.G. And within Gen.G and KT, I think, I mean, this is just going to be a repeat of LCK, no? Gen.G is just gonna win this. I don't think KT... If KT wins Worlds, I'm all in here for it. I'm not a KT hater. I just feel like Gen.G this is the year, okay? T1 is not looking at the strongest. I don't think LPL is looking at the strongest either. As far as to say that G2 is probably gonna win top esports. So I'm just gonna go with Gen.G being in the finals. Not a lot of arguments needed considering what I just said. I think that BDD is insane. I think Chov is more insane. I think as much as Cass has great games, I think Canyon can match him. And I think Kin is going to gap top lane. And I also think Ruler is going to gap bot lane. So top bot gap, even if you treat BDD and Cass as equals. Then we go into G2 and top esports. I feel like that is somewhat... that can be controversial, but I'm European and I'm biased. And I feel like top esports didn't really show up. And I feel like the only reason they won against BLG is because BLG had the most atrocious fraud run ever. These guys just played straight up bad. The BO3, sorry, between these teams was really fun, but was really bad quality. Everybody was getting caught left and right. People making individual mistakes. People making macro mistakes. As much as I think you need to respect LPL, I feel like this is the best opponent for G2. That just says you don't watch LPL. Bro, I literally watch LPL in Swiss stage. I watch LPL in Swiss stage for the past 2 weeks! How can you say I don't watch it? Shut the fuck up. Anyway, if there's one team that G2 can win against, it would be CFO and it would be top esports. I think if they could have faced Gen.G, they could have faced HLE. And I think these teams would be completely doomed. I feel like facing top esports or CFO is really, really, really playable. And I mean, to be honest, I still think top esports is the favorites, just to be clear, okay? I believe that this is my delusional take. I think if I have one delusional take in this whole, I guess, bracket, one hot take that is not really a hot take because I'm biased, but if I have one hot take, then this is G2 winning. I think this is the hot take because I don't believe G2 is the favorites. I also think top esports in a BO5 is a completely different beast. Last time they met, 369 had this crazy clip on Aatrox where he just 1v9'd, and back then G2 also fucked up the Herald fight, and not Herald, Atakan, sorry. So I feel like this is a hot take. I think that I would probably give G2 20% chance of winning, maybe 25 on a good day. It hardly depends how Cap shows up. I think when G2 play against FlyQuest, they still had a lot of ins. I think it depends if Broken Blade will be able to stop 369. I think it depends if, you know, Caps is going to show up on the day or not. I think it depends if Labrov or Skumon will choke because the first time they're in quarterfinals of Worlds. I think it depends if Hansam is going to choke or not, even though he played very well. So, yeah. I hope G2 wins. I'm biased. I like G2. I support G2. I'm you know, from the West. I want G2 to win, but I still think it's a hot take just because I feel like Top Esports is the better team. Assuming they will play their proper game. Then for Anyone Legend and T1, I'm gonna pick T1. I know I had the star next to Anyone Legend. I was rage baiting. Of course I'm gonna pick T1. Bro, T1, Faker. Fun fact, fun little fact, T1 has never ever lost a game in quarterfinals to LPL teams. They have always 3-0'd them. And I think this time might not be different. I feel like, though, the favorites would be Anyone's Legend. I feel like T1 is still struggling a little bit. Faker is in great form, but not every game. In some games, he was also having iffy games. Against Mad Lions, against MKOI specifically, he was performing very well. I feel like Owner is stepping up a lot. I feel like Guma is stepping up a lot. But I haven't really seen Keria to his usual Worlds level. I feel like this guy's the best player in the world when it comes to support role. And I just don't think he showed that during Worlds yet. And I also don't think... I mean, mate... Doran! Well, do I have to say more? Doran is such an Inter. He's so fun. He's so entertaining. But he is such an Inter, man. He has so many bad moments where he just dies for absolute no reason. Even that Rek'Sai against Dogo in the top lane. You remember that, right? The Draven Rek'Sai. So... I hope Doran performs well. I hope the stress doesn't eat him. I hope Faker can lead the squad. And I'm going to be slightly biased here towards T1. But I feel like Anyone's Legend had an amazing tournament. And they were one of the best showings overall. Gameplay-wise, decision-making, micro, macro, team fights. So this is a tough one. This is a tough one. I feel like T1 can definitely... If T1 doesn't get the usual yearly T1 doesn't lose to LPL teams buff, I feel like T1 is just going to lose. I think this year, for me at least, they don't feel the same. And I feel like I'm just worried, you know. I'm worried that this is not the year. I hope it's the year, but I'm worried it's not the year. Then moving on to semifinals, G2 and against T1, guys. I mean, like, I'm delusional, but I'm not that delusional, okay? I feel like if T1 can win Anyone Legend, I think T1 is gonna win G2. I feel like if Anyone Legend is the one making it, I still think it's gonna be Anyone Legend winning. But basically, what I'm trying to say is that I'm delusional. But I think G2 is going to lose in semifinals, which whoever they play, because I think they're much worse, unless they level up so much over the next 5 days. And remember that this year format of Worlds is a little bit different. And you actually play quarterfinals back-to-back from Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, to then semifinals immediately. There is no rest. And you insta-play. So... there is no break, right? The upper bracket semifinal is going to be on Sunday, I believe. And the lower bracket is going to be on Saturday because the lower bracket games are quicker. So we will just see T1, G2 potentially playing within the next 6 days. Which makes me think that I don't think G2 can level up all that much, considering that when you travel at Worlds, you have at least 1 day of content or 2 days of content because you need to go do content for both quarters and for semis, and you need to do them against both teams, and then you need to prepare, and you have to scrim a little bit, but then you have to travel as well, and so on, right? So, and then you have your opponent, and then you have time to prepare for the next opponent. You have to things at a time. So I just don't think they have time to necessarily level up insanely hard unless they go through some hardcore mental training. I'm just gonna go with T1. And then this is probably the year where I am a Faker fanboy, and I do have my T1 scarf with me, and I am biased, okay? Listen, I am biased. But I feel like this is the year where Chovy wins his first title. I just see, no, it's the same thing, like, I mean, hypothetically speaking, if T1 makes it to finals, I think that already means that they are at their Worlds form, and T1 at Worlds form is unstoppable. But T1 at Worlds form was unstoppable with Zeus. And I'm not saying Doran's the problem, but Doran did not look as good as Zeus did. So I am worried. I am absolutely worried. And I feel like, again, Gen.G is playing such a great tournament, and I don't see a reason why they wouldn't win it. So I'm just going to go with Gen.G winning. And I'm not going to be biased towards T1 the final itself. I'll be supporting T1 in case this bracket happens. I'll be supporting T1 in the finals, but I will not be... I just think this this is the time where Gen.G can win, you know what I mean? So, but wait, actually, can I even do this? I mean, like, the thing is, I really want to support T1, but it's also, like, a little bit delusional to say they're gonna win over Gen.G. Like, I really, really want to support T1, you know what I mean? I really want to press T1, but I just feel like they will not make it. I mean, sorry, they will make it, but they will not win. Their current form has no business winning in Gen.G current form. But it's in 2 weeks. That actually, there is a week break. There is a week between this and that. There's like 1 week extra. But who do you scream, right? Who do you scream? No team is left. You can scream like a Chinese McDonald's team, you know, like the random Chinese players kind of thing. Follow your heart. I mean, my heart is with T1, but my logic is with Gen.G. And I feel like T1 might struggle here, by the way. Like, I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie, my pick'ems are a little bit biased. So if I was very, very unbiased, I would probably pick anyone legend. And I would probably pick Tess. And I'll probably pick anyone legend. And I'll probably pick Gen.G. This would be me unbiased pick'ems, okay? Unbiased pick'em is LPL, anyone legend, Gen.G. The bottom side is unbiased, so this is the logic side. This is logic. This is hard. Let's just go with Gen.G for the sake of being logical. But my heart will be with T1, so I don't promise you that I might change last minute to T1, okay? This, I feel like people just have to follow their heart. That's for my pick'ems. Thank you, guys. Lots of love.